All right, this is from my dear brother. I'm showing you how to do this. Now I did this to save on time. We took a picture of the ingredients and what we have, so I'll show you right now. Water, flour, and you can have 3 to 4 cans of diced green chili. If by chance you have fresh green chili that's been roasted, that's far better, but I know most of the time you cannot get that. So 3 to 4 cans of diced green chili. I'm going to throw these away because I have them right here inside of here. I actually had just, mashed them around in here a little bit and then stick them in here so they're just not so square. So they're a little bit more flavorful. The other thing we got is diced tomatoes. And here's another one of these. But what this is oh, I threw the can away. But it was diced jalapenos because I normally use fresh jalapenos, but it's late at night and we decided to do this film. And I did my fresh jalapenos were soggy. They were messed up, so I threw them away. So normally what I do is I have fresh garlic in here, and I had already mashed it up, put it in here, mashed it up in here, and then I do the jalapenos the same way. I slice them up, dice them up, and I put the garlic and the jalapenos that are fresh in here, and I do a little bit of this. You don't have to get crazy with it, just do that. And then when this meat that I have just diced up, I use what's really good flavor in here. I leave a bone in here, and it's pork steak, and it always makes the best green chili, I think. So I have about 4 or 5 teaspoons of Wesson oil in here, or you can use lard or vegetable oil, but I've never used vegetable oil, I guess. So I have that. I have salt, pepper, and I usually have smoked paprika and any type of all-season salt. Sometimes I use Red Robin all-season, but Goya, Adobe, whatever, any of those work just fine. And ground cumin. Ground cumin is something you have to have in here. I mean, it just doesn't taste right without it. Crushed red pepper works really great. You can use that or cayenne red pepper or what just says red pepper, whatever. Any of those. I have a picture of the ingredient list. So right now, this is the part. So you cook this until they're like brown, okay? You can either leave the bone in or you can take it out. I'm going to take it out. It adds flavor, but I'm going to take it out and then you chew off the meat or whatever. And that's going to be very flavorful because it usually has the jalapenos and the fresh garlic in here, which you can see is in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this back on. And I'm trying to, I don't really know how much I usually put in here. And it depends on how thick you want it or how more saucier you want it. If you make the roux thicker, you have more green chili and a more creamy, kind of like gravy or roux. It's, or the less you put, so let's see, the less you put in it, it's more like a chili, but we're not really making a chili because we don't have fresh chilies. Normally you would make it with fresh chilies, but we're not doing that, so we're just going to make it with kind of a lot of roux. So I'd say about 2 tablespoons of flour. And then you see we got 2 tablespoons in there. Let's see how that's looking. Kind of just let that do its thing. And I'm thinking 3 tablespoons. So, approximately. This is going to be a thick, it's going to make a thick gravy, green chili gravy, I guess. You can, or roux, whatever people want to call it. So, we're just going to sit here for a few minutes. Wipe some of this up. Ain't no damn cooking show, okay? what we're gonna do as soon as this thickens up a little bit is we're gonna put water in there. And right now that's still not enough, so let's add another one. How many is this?
4.
4. So we're gonna do 4, and we're gonna do 5. 5 tablespoons of, so that's good, and a little bit better, because of course it depends on how much oil you got in here. So see, this is getting to be a little bit more, you have a little bit more of this, and I would say 6 teaspoons. This is just so, not teaspoons, tablespoons. So hard to do this. I'm trying to do it by, so that kind of soaked up the grease to where now it's going to be kind of more like, you know, browning. Oh, there was the rest of that. So, 6 tablespoons. So, all right, so we do this. This gets a little bit brown. And then what we do is, if you can hold that, Courtney, just pour it in a little bit. Just pour it in slowly. Go ahead. Keep going, keep on. More than that. More. Okay. And so then, do like, that's 2 cups of water is what that was. You just got to stir very much. Okay, go ahead with the other cup. Or the rest of it. So you need to fill that up again, Courtney. That will be 4 cups of water we'll probably be using. See, I used too much. See, this is so hard for me to do. When you see it looking like that, I think that's a little too much. Go ahead, Courtney. Pour it in. More? Come on. If you don't do this, it's kind of, okay, let it go. No, stop. If you don't do it, kind of, it'll get lumpy. It's not gotten lumpy yet, but, okay, go ahead. I used too much flour. So you keep stirring. Keep stirring that. I'm just going to get a little bit more water just in case. So that was 4 cups of water. This is so hard for me to do it this way because I'm used to just throwing this and that in there, and this makes it really hard for me. Trying to do this while measuring. It's not working for me. So I'm waiting for it to come back up to like a boil. Soft boil. Can't get too hot, can't get too not hot enough. So I can hear it, and there it goes. It's starting to soft boil. So this is a little bit, I'm gonna add a little bit more water. So that was probably about 1/4. So that's 4 cups and 1/4. But, you know, this is approximate, you know, and this is kind of messing me up trying to do the measuring. I'd never make it on a cooking show. So I'm waiting for this to get a little bit more. So this is kind of like, you know, it's almost like you would do for biscuits and gravy. Except for this is a little runny because you don't want it thick. Okay, so I'm waiting for this to get to like a soft boil because this will kind of continue to thicken up. It's boiling now, okay? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna add, this is jalapenos and green chilies. I'm adding that right now. Okay. It smells good, even though it's canned. Still smells good. Okay. So we kind of let the heat get up on this since we added a new ingredient. I'm not happy with, I think I put a little bit too much oil in, so probably about 4 tablespoons of oil, and then you add the cut up pork. I used pork steaks. You can use whatever kind of pork you want. Well, not whatever, but picnic pork roast, you can cut that sucker up. But I like when I can find it. Don't use pork chops though, that's really dry. It just never really turns out well. So I'm waiting for this to come up to like a boil, because you don't want to add too much stuff at once. So as I'm waiting for that, I'm just going to add some crushed red pepper. You know, not a whole lot, just to give it a little bit more of a flavor. However much you want to do with that. While the meat was cooking, I already put like some all seasoning pepper and salt in there. Okay, so this is up again. So here we got this, which is the 1 can of diced petite potatoes. I'm going to turn this down because it is going crazy with the boiling. If you want to, it usually takes one of these smaller cans. It's usually all it takes as far as the. So this is going to be a little thicker than I usually like, but I added too much flour. Okay, sorry, my throat's kind of icky. So the big thing is you have to have cumin, okay? So I'm sorry I'm not able to just put some cumin in here. However much, you know, your taste buds. So that's the cumin. So I had some adobe I've already put in. I'll put a little bit more. Let's do this so I don't cut myself. So crushed red pepper and all season. It can be any all season, okay? Just some kind of all season that doesn't have anything crazy in it. You know, nothing strong. It's just a typical all season. And then I do smoked paprika. Gives it a little bit of a, it doesn't have to be smoked either. It just gives it a little bit of a sweeter taste, a sweetness to it. Kind of acts the hotness, I guess. And ground cumin, salt, and pepper. I mean, that's really all that you need to use, you know, with this. And then voila, pretty much that's how you make your green chili. That's what it turns out looking like. You want to taste it, Courtney?